Inside the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, where the Lions' 11-game home win string was snapped last week by Tampa Bay. The matchup, two division champs from last year, both of them off to disappointing starts. Good afternoon, everyone. Along with Hank Schram, I'm Mike Emerick. The Detroit Lions are 1-3. This is their only home game in the month of October. You don't like to use the word crucial this early in the season, but this stacks up as a crucial game. They will have Rodney Peete at quarterback. He was on crutches, had a bruised foot earlier in the week, sprained foot, but he'll be okay to play. I just wonder, what's the best way for the Lions to try to win one here?
Well, number one, Mike, I think they have to do an awful good job with their offensive line. Number two, they have to provide running room for Barry Sanders. They haven't given him that opportunity in the games that they played so far. And number three, I think the Lions have to throw the ball quickly to avoid that good rush of the New Orleans Saints.
The Saints are 2-2 this year. Numbers can fool you. Their defense is ranked 19th, but it's still a splendid defense.
Well, there's no question about the fact, Mike, that it's one of the very best defenses in the National Football League. They're going to have to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but the big thing is they cannot let Barry Sanders beat him this afternoon. They have to be able to do a great job of tackling, gang tackling, and get him out of the game if that's possible.
This will be the largest crowd of the season to see the Lions here at home. They had 57,000 and change to see the game against Minnesota. 51,000 against Tampa Bay, but they're guessing around 60. Jason Hansen boomed 3 for kickoff touchbacks last week. Higher, shorter kicks are no longer Detroit's preference. They've decided to just go for the kill, put it in the end zone, and make Tampa Bay start at the, or rather make the New Orleans Saints start at the 20-yard line. Fred McAfee will be the deep man for the New Orleans Saints. Dalton Hilliard on the near side. McAfee 25, Hilliard 21. The fans have been outfitted with pom-poms, and they're always outfitted with a lot of lung. From the goal line, it's Hilliard. Mike Hinnant at the 10. And there's fire in those Lions today. Bobby Hebert goes to work for the Saints. He's played every minute, but his pass percentage is way down this year. Not because of his passing shoulder surgery, he says. The line remains unchanged. All of them 5 for 5 in starts. Jim Dombrowski is starting his 79th straight. And then Vaughn Dunbar, Ironhead Hayward, Eric Martin, and Quinn Early, part of an offense still looking for its first rushing touchdown. Early out to the left, Wesley Carroll to the right. Dunbar up to about the 19.
You know, Mike, and that's the thing he does so well. He'll hit inside of the offensive tackle and has the quickness and the speed and the ability to bounce outside. He's got terrific vision, good balance. He was able to bounce outside that time and pick up some good yardage on the play.
On defense, it's Pritchett, Ball, and Owens. Chris Spielman has double-digit tackle totals the last 2 weeks to lead the team as he has all his career. Secondary, Kevin Scott is in for Ray Crockett. Carroll out to the left, Quinn Early to the right this time. 2nd and 4.
He's changing the play, expecting a blitz.
Ironhead Hayward has enough for the first down. William White got him.
Derek Kennard, the right guard. Look at the block he makes on the linebacker, Spielman. Look at the big hole. Good job of blocking by the right tackle, Stan Brock. As a result, they get good running room, a good cavity right inside. And that big a hole, I guess, I guarantee the defensive backs don't want to have to tackle the Ironhead very much this afternoon.
It's surprising he doesn't get that many carries when he does so well. 1st and 10. Wesley Carroll to the left, Quinn Early to the right. Another first down. Got as far as the 40. William White with the tackle.
It's just straight ahead man-for-man blocking on that right side. Brock, Kennard, Hobie Brenner. They get off the ball in good shape, and all they need, Dunbar, all he needs is a little crack. And he's going to pop through there. And they should, with the big size of the offensive line of the New Orleans Saints, they should have an outstanding game here this afternoon running the football.
See Coach Jim Morrow on the Saints side. 1st and 10 from the 40. It's Hayward again. Pulls his way for about 4. Robert Porcher, Jerry Ball made the stop.
And that time the Lions overshifted to that side. They had an extra man. And in spite of that, the offensive line of the New Orleans Saints was able to get a good push and still make yardage on that last play.
Hank, surprised you that New Orleans is mixing it up as much in the backfield? Hayward's had 2 carries already today.
Yeah, well, it is a surprising thing, but it's something that I think we should see more of because he's a terrific running back and puts a real load on the defense.
2nd down 7 from the 43. Early and Carroll are out to the left. Dunbar. Not much that time. Kelvin Pritchett with the stop.
See, that time he tried to do the same thing he did in the first play of the game. He hit off tackle, tried to bounce it outside, but didn't have any success in doing it. Good job by the defense of the Detroit Lions.
3rd down and 6.
Kelvin Pritchett that time, number 94, did a good job of containing the play.
Lions are in the nickel. Quinn early in motion. Hebert out of the shotgun. Complete. And that's enough for another first down. Torrance Small made the catch. Pickup of 12.
That was a 2-deep zone that time with 5 defensive backs. But again, Hebert has the uncanny ability. These slant passes, he throws low. That's the kind of a ball you have to throw low at the numbers because if it falls incomplete, it goes right down to the ground. If you throw it high, it hits the shoulder pad and bounces up into the air. There's always a chance for an interception.
Hebert found out the difficulties of throwing high last week with a jump ball pass on what turned out to be the Saints' final play. 7th play of the series for New Orleans. Hobie Brenner in motion. Dunbar with a big run. Might have been enough for the first down. William White with the tackle.
And Jim Dombrowski, the left guard, number 72, pulled to his left on the play, gets a good block. Here you see him coming through the hole. Look at the block he gets on a linebacker on Jamison, providing good running room for Dunbar, and the rest he will do with those good legs.
William White with 3 tackles already today. Richard Cooper and Hobie Brenner, along with Dombrowski, leading the blocking.
And Dombrowski is playing pro ball football for the Saints.
4 runs for 30 yards for Dunbar. Another first down for the New Orleans Saints. 4th first down of the series. They're working the clock pretty well too, Hank.
Well,
5 minutes have passed.
Well, that's what they want to do, and they want to keep pushing and pushing, and at the right time they'll throw a play-action pass for a big play.
Early right. Eric Martin left. Dunbar. Not far that time. Chris Spielman right there to get the tackle.
Spielman is an all-pro linebacker, number 52, gets penetration on the last play, but because he got penetration, because he reacts so well to what you see from a run standpoint, play-action pass at him should be extremely good.
3 straight Pro Bowls for Chris Spielman. 2-time All-American out of Ohio State. Wants to forget how Ohio State did yesterday. 2nd and 9. Early left, Martin right. It's for Martin, and he has it, and a flag flies.
You say they ran the play action pass faking right as Spielman to hold him at the hole, and that's what he does, and they complete the forward pass.
14-yard gain on the play. Against the Saints.
Pass interference, offense, number 84, 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
The Saints offensive line have been called for 7 offensive penalties in the last 4 games. Good play action. Look at all the time he's got to throw the football. You can't tell what happened downfield.
Well, the Saints want to forget about the one last week on their final drive against San Francisco. Derek Kennard was tagged with it, and they still say there was no such thing. Second down and 19. Scoreless first quarter, 8.5 to go. From the noisy Silverdome.
You might see it. Here we go.
Dunbar close to the 35.
That time they had 6 defensive backs in the game, and they gave him an option. Dunbar in the flat. The linebacker was inside. As a result, he broke it outside. Had the linebacker been outside, he'd have broke it inside.
Pickup of 8 on that. We have to think, Hank, coming from a shell shock loss to the San Francisco 49ers, this is a good confidence builder at the start. This is 3rd and long, 3rd and 11, and the Saints will go at it out of the shotgun. Dalton Hilliard is in the backfield.
They like to hit Martin, or they like to hit Hilliard in this situation. Let's see what they do.
It's Hilliard, and he didn't get that far. He got to the 30, but it sets up 4th down. William White with the tackle once again.
That time they were in a two deep zone with man-for-man coverage with 6 backs.
This is easily the comfort zone for Morton Anderson.
Watching him in the pregame warm-up, he was pumping them through there like it had radar hooked up to the ball. 52 and 55 yards.
This will be 47. Joel Hilgenberg, the snapper. Tommy Barnhart, the holder. No good. There's an official's timeout on the field. We still have no score. Rodney Peete was on crutches Monday for a foot sprain, and there was doubt about his starting. So, moments ago, we asked about the injury.
Leg is good.
It's good?
Yeah, leg is real good. Feels good. Foot feels good. Ready to go.
And they go with the 4 wides. In motion, Mike Farr. He expects to get a lot more work today if they go to that about 60-65% of the time. Let's see if he does here. Yep. Second reception of the year for Farr.
They were in man-for-man coverage that time. You've got plenty. Look, the key here, look at all the time he has to throw the football, go see through the alley, throw the ball to Farr. A little follow the bouncing ball on that last play, but he made the catch. And a good start for the Detroit Lions.
He had 1 reception of 13 up until now. This one goes for 9, so make it 2nd and 1 from the 40. Perryman, the motion man this time. Peete looks everything over. Had enough time, but then had to scramble and just got back to the line of scrimmage. Wayne Martin with the tackle. Rodney Peete works behind an offensive line that has really been criticized for allowing 13 sacks and a lot of physical abuse to the quarterback. But there's a lack of experience there, too. Barry Sanders, Willie Green, Brett Perryman, Mike Farr, Reggie Barrett join him. 5:55 to go. First quarter of our contest this afternoon from the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. No score.
Here's a good shot of Wayne Fonz, who has done a terrific job with his football team. He's a motivator. He's a good people's guy. The guys like him very much, respect him very much. And for that reason, this team is a very close-knit football team, a family, and I think they have an excellent future in years to come.
2nd and 6. Illegal procedure penalty. Makes them adjust the stick that says 2. Pete. Willie Green, the 49.
See what's happening here. They've got 6 people in the box, meaning that they got 6 people on defense against 5 of the New Orleans Saints. And as a result, when they see that, they're going to consistently throw the ball against that kind of defense.
Penalty against the Saints.
After the play, personal foul, late hit number 57 defense, 15-yard penalty.
The gain on the pass was 15.
We'll watch the alignment on defense again as we look at it. We call it the box, the area between the offensive tackles on offense, and see how many people are in that frame. You'll see 6 unless they change it on this next play. And anytime you see 6, they're going to throw the ball most of the time. If they get 5 on 5, then they're going to run the ball. And that's what the whole theory is of the run and shoot. Jim Mora has to be concerned. He was concerned coming into the game. We talked to him yesterday, and he felt it was going to be a very difficult time. Now, look at this. Now they get 5. Now they get 5 against 5. Now they'll probably run the ball. No.
It's to Sanders. Penalty flag down. Sanders to the 25. Sam Mills tripped him up.
See, that's just like a run. They got 5 on 5s. Sanders is 6 on 5. They dump it off to him instead of handing the ball to him, and they get accomplished what they want to, except there's a penalty on the play.
The gain that time was 11. And it's against Detroit.
We got an unsportsmanlike penalty. Chop block on the offense, number 53. 15-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Kevin Glover tagged. So back to midfield the Lions go.
Watch the left side of the screen. 53 in blue. Watch this. There's a crack. So he's blocking them down below the waist. And that's what the penalty was called for. A good shot. A good picture on that last play.
So a swap of personal fouls here in the first quarter. First down and 25. The Lions have it from their own 49.
Now they got 5 on 5 again. There's the run.
Barry Sanders. A little bit of an opening, but not much. 3-yard gain. Let's check in with an NFL update. Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Mike, in Atlanta, the Falcons turn a Brett Favre interception into 7 points. Chris Miller to Mike Pritchard, 2 yards in the touchdown. It is a 7-0 Falcons lead over Green Bay in the first. Mike?
Both Atlanta and Green Bay are still looking for their first rushing touchdowns of the year. 6 defensive backs again for the Saints. 2nd and 21. Motion man is far. Rodney Peete with a little toss that gets nothing but turf. The Saints defense will make some changes for the run and shoot, but the standard setup has Les Miller in again today for Jim Wilkes at nose tackle, Martin and Warren. A highly talented set of linebackers, including 2 guys with more sacks than all the Lions, Swilling with 4, Jackson with 3.5. The Lions have 3. In the secondary, Cook, Jones, Atkins, and Maxey.
They also have a dominant player in Frank Warren. He's getting a good push up front. And also Martin is coming on strong for the New Orleans Saints.
3rd and way long, 21 yards. 4 minutes to go first quarter and no score. Rodney Peete back. Tried for Green. Reginald Jones was defending.
Well, that time again, they had 5 guys up in the box that time, which means they got 6 playing pass defense. And as a result, why it's tough to throw the ball deep, especially because the defenders get a good jump on that kind of a long ball. And that especially was a 3-deep zone that time, which means they're covering areas instead of people man for man.
Jim Arnold to punt. 189 straight punts without a block. Louis Lips, recently acquired from the Pittsburgh Steelers, is the lone deep man. At the 9 by Melvin Jenkins. Splendid field position as far as the Lions are concerned. We'll be right back.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Coors Light. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now. And by American Honda, who has been making quality cars in America for the past 10 years.
Here we see a shot of Frank Gantz, one of the very outstanding specialty team guys in the National Football League. I got acquainted with him when he was with Philadelphia, became the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, and he does everything with a loudspeaker. I thought he had a lot of deaf people on his team.
Well, Church helps us eavesdrop on things too, as Dunbar with a good carry got up to the 19. Benny Blades made the tackle. Early got between Blades and Dunbar.
Here we see an end zone replay. Watch the right ear picture. A counter play with the right guard and right tackle pulling. Look at the good block at the point of attack. Hayward is blocking number 34. He's like a guard in the backfield playing that position, playing fullback. He's a devastating blocker. Made a great block on the last play. Dunbar, excellent running, and they pick up a big gain on that play.
Well, we talked earlier about how often Hayward had run the ball in the first series. Do you think they ought to run him consistently more as part of their game plan?
Oh, of course, just an opinion as a fan. You know, I just think when you get a great back like he was used to running the ball 30, 35 times in college. And you can't get cranked up and really be efficient running the ball 3 or 4 times. I think personally you ought to carry the ball 20, 25 times a game. He's a snootful, I guarantee you. One guy isn't going to tackle him, especially people in the secondary.
Not enough for a first down, 2nd and 1. Hank, if you're coaching the opposition, is there a certain way you approach working on Jerry Ball?
Well, personally, I'd like to run outside a lot to make him run sideways to get him tired. He's over 300 pounds, and he's most efficient when you run right at him.
Well, here's Hayward to the 21.
And there was Ball. You see, Ball getting the piece of the tackle. He's murdering that 5-yard square, but you get him running sideways and get him tired a little bit. Why, I think he got a better chance.
Robert Porcher helped out too. Not a pass yet for the Saints.
Saints have run the ball 6 times, no passes on first down.
They're one of 5 teams to not have a rushing touchdown yet this year. Latter stages first quarter. If you're just joining us, no score. Wesley Carroll in motion. Quinn early with the catch. Enough for a first down at the 34.
See, the run, that's a great thing about being able to run the ball efficiently. It really enhances your play action passes. And that time they caught him in a 3-deep zone, which means you're going to have some cavities behind the linebackers and in front of the defensive backs. That's where they threw the ball to Quinn early on the play for a first down.
Hebert is perfect so far, 4 for 4 in passes. Lawrence Pete has come in place of Jerry Ball. Eric Martin went early to the right. Dunbar. Chris Spielman with the tackle.
See, Dunbar that time didn't instinctively run the play right, because I think now he's making his mind up before he gets the ball that on that play he's going to jump outside. Watch Spielman, number 54. Watch him. And he's a very good tackler. And that's exactly what happened on the play. Inside push by the linebacker, Jamison. And that's why he jumped outside.
Second down, 12. Torrance Small is out to the left this time, and Quinn Early to the right. Down. The sack to Kelvin Pritchett. Fourth sack of the year by the Lions, first in this game.
6 backs that time, man for man. He got a good push by Kelvin Pritchett. And he gets a sack on Bobby Hebert. And that's one thing they haven't done, as you just mentioned, Mike. They haven't done a good job of sacking the quarterback coming into the game. They've only had 3. That's number 4.
Third down and 20. 6 defensive backs in the game for Detroit. Final 24 seconds of the scoreless first quarter. Down. Mike Kofer tripped him up.
Mike Kofer, the right linebacker, blitzing on the play. Watch Mike Kofer, 55 on the right side of your screen. Look at that. He gets a piece of Bobby Hebert, and he gets another sack, 2 in a row.
Tommy Barnhart will kick, but it will not be until the start of the second quarter. No score here in Pontiac. The Lions defense studying things.
Yeah, Lamar Leachman, the defensive line coach, showing them what they have to do. And that's always very effective. Jerry Ball was right there.
Tommy Barnhart to kick. Mel Gray back. Remarkably, Gray said as soon as the ball is punted, he doesn't hear the crowd here in Pontiac. A fair catch at the 37. Now for an NFL Today report. Let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Mike, in Atlanta, Chris Miller has thrown his second touchdown pass of the day. This one, 10 yards. Andre Rison on the receiving end. 14-0 Falcons. 2 minutes to play in the first quarter at the Georgia Dome, Mike.
So Green Bay lost the first 2, won the second 2, and now they get down early in Atlanta. Detroit's second quarter series will begin at the 37. They go with the 4 wides, and they go with far in motion.
Watch the box again. There's 6 in there now, you see?
Expect
and a blitz up the middle.
Pat Swilling was the man who got there first.
See, we talk about the 6-on-5. Here we are. Here's a square. Here's the box. Right in there. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6-on-5. We had a blitz up the middle also. And that's what happened on the play.
6 defensive backs this time for the Saints. Second and 18. Perriman, the man in motion. He got it away. Perriman, remarkable catch. On him quickly was Jimmy Spencer.
Pass completed to Brett Perriman.
Look at the pressure. Look at Warren, number 90, or Martin, 93, coming in there. High catch, and he caught it. That's a tough catch in traffic, but he makes the catch.
A little bit riding on this for Brett Perriman because he was a New Orleans Saint.
Well, anytime that you are released from one team and play against them, sometime down the line, they're all smiles. They're anxious to prove that the people who dumped them are wrong or were wrong.
Motion man is Jimmy Johnson. Flags go flying. Frank Warren may be the guilty party here.
Prior to the snap, false start on the quarterback, coming out from under the center without the ball. 5-yard penalty, repeat third down.
Well, Frank was the first one in there, but there was a reason.
Yeah, watch it. This is the reason.
Rodney Pete only took 5 snaps yesterday and did not take any earlier in the week.
6 defensive backs.
He's got to hustle now. Throws it away. Wayne Martin made the initial force.
And Wayne Martin is really developing into a very, very strong force with this defense of the New Orleans Saints. You already have Warren coming up there and putting a lot of pressure. Now you're getting Martin coming up there too, and boy, that's really tough when you have 2 great linebackers blitzing like they do with Jackson and Swilling on the outside.
Arnold DuPont, Lewis Lips will be the only man back. Back on the 21. Out of bounds and snagged by one of the assistant coaches. Play is stopped. New Orleans to go on offense when we come back. Easily the best crowd of the season here. Prior high this year, 57,000 and change. They seat just over 80,000. And we'll take a guess at in the high 60s or perhaps 70. That'll be their best in a long time. Huge facility like this. They've only sold out 27 of 131 games since they came here in 1975 from what is now Tiger Stadium. Ironhead Hayward.
They've only run the ball 1 time on 1st and 10, or threw the ball 1 time on 1st and 10. Here it is again.
The fake to Hayward. And up with the passes, Emerick Martin. 27 yards on that game.
Man for man covers that time. Martin, he's amazing. He's got very, very strong hands. Watch the fake. Not very good. He doesn't put the ball in the pocket. Look at all the time he's got to throw the ball. And look at Martin grab that ball above his head, make the catch, and still have the composure to run with it after he made the reception and pick up extra yardage on the play.
1st and 10 from the 40. Early in motion. Dunbar the carry. Only to the line of scrimmage, and Benny Blades with great anticipation. The Lions have in their secondary a pool. They toss about $10 a man into the pool each week. The guy who comes up with the best hit wins the pool. Blades took it in the first week. No one in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th weeks. So a big hit today could fatten a wallet by quite a bit because that money adds up.
A lot of protests on the part of the players too that thought they ought to have some the last few games.
William White thought he won last week.
He had a throw ball here. Let's see if they throw it. He changes the play or goes outside. Here he goes.
This is 2nd and 10, and Dalton Hilliard tackled by Chris Spielman.
Dalton Hilliard carried the ball to the left side. Chris Spielman on the stop for Detroit.
Why did we anticipate a defensive struggle today? Well, neither team has a very high offensive ranking. We talked earlier about how it's easy to misread the defensive ranking that's 19th that New Orleans has because they have such a strong defense.
Yeah, I think we'll find that the New Orleans Saints will increase that efficiency percentage again this game today, running the football. They should be able to do that consistently well all afternoon.
They need 3. Wesley Carroll in motion. Hebert to pass. He did not have it in. And so it is a 4th down play.
Got to have 2 feet down. Let's see what happens on the play. There's one. Nope, just one in, the other one bounced out.
An injured Saint on the field. 10:39 to go, second quarter. In Pontiac, we still don't have a score. Steve Trapillo being helped off the field.
Now watch Trapillo here, the right guard, right in here on Pritchett, and he gets a good push back into the backfield, and you can't tell really what happens on the play because he's getting pushed backwards, and you can't tell whether he twisted it or what happened, but he got a good picture by Pritchett.
Anderson has missed from 47. This is 50. And he's got that one. Morton Anderson makes this 3-0 Saints. That is the 19th career field goal of 50 yards or better for Morton Anderson, tying him with Nick Lowry of Kansas City for the lead in a career. 19 of 50 yards or more. That makes 985, 6, and 7 points, so he's only 13 points away from the 1,000-point mark. Mel Gray, Mr. Excitement.
This is where you got to hold on when you're covering kicks when Mel Gray is returning kickoff.
How good are the Saints specialty teams? Let's see here. He got to the 20.
Gray on the return.
DeMond Winston made the stop on Gray. Hebert, much better percentage than prior weeks. 5 for 6 and 64 yards. A 47-yarder missed by Anderson, but a 50 converted. Rushing yardage 60-4. And the Sanders totals again not impressive. Only 1 rush in 8 plays for Barry Sanders. And talk all week has been about making bigger holes, giving him more holes. Hasn't happened yet. Of course, you have to get the ball first. Richie Barrett to the 33, and Jimmy Spencer made the tackle.
See, that's the difference when he had pass protection. He had enough time to throw the ball and got it out there in good shape, and they pick up a nice gain in the play. Look at the pass protection. He gets the ball over the top of Martin, number 93, right on target. Spencer finally tackles him from the backside, tackles him high, and brings him down.
That nice gain you mentioned, Hank, 14 yards and a first down. Motion man is Parrott. Sanders gets it this time. Ronaldo Turnbull brought him down.
See, he's a great space runner, a reactionary runner, talking about Barry Sanders, and he needs room, he needs space, and he's not getting it, and that's because the Saints are doing a terrific job of pursuing, getting a lot of people around the ball, and making gang tackling. Very important.
See if he gets it again. This is second down and 10. And he does. Got much more this time. Les Miller finally got him.
Here you see Trapillo going off the field. I couldn't tell whether somebody stepped on his foot or whether he twisted an ankle or a knee. It was very difficult to tell from the picture that we saw with all the people around him.
Oh, I don't even see an ice bag or anything that would indicate what the nature of it is. 3rd and 5. We have people down below that'll get us a report on Steve Trapillo as soon as possible. Lomas Brown got a good crunch in there. Encroachment of some sort.
6 defensive backs for the Saints.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 75 offense. Setting up before the snap. 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
See, that's what happens when you have to block Swilling. you want to make sure that you get a good jump on the ball, and as a result, sometimes you leave prematurely, which happened on the last play.
The right ankle is the problem with Trapillo, and he is headed in for x-rays. Lions offense needs to be x-rayed about these penalties. All 4 penalties so far today have come to the offense. 3rd down and 10. 3-0, the Saints ahead. And if you recall the scores that were flashed by a moment ago, this is a day of field goals and practically field goals only. Willie Green, the first down reception just short of the 50.
Man-for-man coverage on the play, 6 defensive backs. Here we see an end zone replay of it. Look at, he's got time enough to throw the ball right over the top. And that's a good catch by Green. He has to go back for the ball a little bit over the right shoulder. He still makes the catch and maintains possession of the ball.
3rd down has been a bit of doom for Detroit this year, but not that time. Pick up a first down out of this and continue the march with 7:15 to go.
They got to throw. There's a draw.
Sanders turns it. Another first down. Pat Swilling ran him out.
Man-for-man coverage, and he jumped outside. He jumped outside of the leverage guy on the right. See, there's Swilling on the inside, and Mills is chasing him, missed the tackle, and he finally gets out of bounds, but he makes a great run, typical, and it's very, very difficult for one guy to tackle him.
A 15-yard gain for Barry Sanders. 3 to the right, 1 to the left this time. Well, the Saints sniffed that one out. Les Miller. And that'll be a loss.
Sanders carried the ball. Tackled by Miller.
Second overall, and second was a story for the Saints all last year, and Philadelphia was first. Rushing yards allowed, passing yards allowed, and yards total. A lot of the other categories have drifted for the Saints this year, but not that one, and that's the ultimate one.
Yeah, and 11 points a game, boy, that's Super Bowl stuff when you play that kind of defense.
Only 4 touchdowns yielded in 4 games. He got it away. Incomplete. Was Turnbull all over him, though.
6 defensive backs, 3 deep zone, and it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with his foot the way he's running from the posse of the New Orleans Saints. Turnbull that time, 97, did a great job of pursuing him from the backside.
Rodney is 5 for 9 today. Jimmy Johnson has come back into the game. Johnson, 89, sets at the tight end position. Motion man is Perryman. 3rd and 13. Barrett didn't have it and then was hit. Gene Atkins was the one who nailed him. And Rodney Peete got nailed too.
Barrett, number 40, coming across the middle. Look at this, it's a high catch. That's what happens when you throw the ball above the numbers in the middle of the field. That ball has to be thrown right at the numbers, so it hits the body. You maintain good possession, and it has no place to go but in the hands of the receiver or down below.
Les Miller was the man making the rush, and with a little twist. Jim Arnold to punt. Goes for the corner. Yeah. They say the 5. Melvin Jenkins with the snag. Good setup by Arnold. A 50-yard field goal by Morton Anderson is all we have on the scoreboard right now. 5:38 to go in the second quarter.
The Saints have really had bad field position in the first half. They start -13, -9, -35, -5. They've averaged coming from -13. That's murder.
The crowd is standing. Noise and pom-poms. Torrance Small was in motion. Dalton Hilliard got up to the 9. Tackle made by Chris Spielman.
That's when he's very important. You get a good push, and they'll move the pile.
Chris Spielman on the stop for Detroit.
And he, a lot of times, will go into the pile and come out the other end, talking about Hayward. They're lining up with a double tight end, which I want to make sure they get a head on everybody. The wing back on the outside. And as a result, just one-on-one, you got to get a push. And they got a good push on that last play.
2nd and 5.
Same thing again.
Exactly. Hilliard almost got free. The fumble occurs after the whistle.
Hilliard, carry ball, left side.
Pickup of 10.
William White on the tackle.
Watch Hilliard running to his left now. Look at, he's got great eyes, good vision, good balance. Look at the way he maintains good possession of the ball. Runs through a would-be tackler and finally gets out in the open, finally get hit. But a great job of running on the part of Dalton Hilliard.
Clock ticks down to 4:20. First half, 3-0 New Orleans. 1st and 10 from the 19. The fake to Hilliard. The pass to Brenner. And he has it at the 37. William White with the tackle. A 17-yard pass play.
Here again, that was a 3-deep zone. Kofer, the linebacker, 55, was rushing. Look at the time of possession, 16:20 to 9:05. And that's what they ought to be able to do consistently. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, and then change it up with play-action passes. Line up with a strong formation with double tight. Let them run.
Remember, it's been 26 minutes for the Saints in an entire game as an average entering this. Hebert has to shake loose. Out of bounds and forced there by Chris Spielman.
Jamison, number 58, was blitzing on the play, but I don't know why they would go back into the pocket. This is not a second guess. It's easy to do that up here in the booth. But basically, they've been running the ball, running the ball, running the ball, and then to go back in the pocket and throw. If you're going to throw, you ought to throw from play action. That's what's been very effective with that kind of a package with the way they're running the football.
They give him about 1 yard on that. See Jim Mora looking on. Spotted Hebert in the United States Football League when Mora was a coach in Philadelphia and Baltimore. But he was on the opposition. 5 defensive backs are out there now on a 2nd and 9. Little confusion, so a timeout. Morton Anderson from 50. That's been it so far. New Orleans leading here 3-0 with 2:54 to go in the second quarter. Most of you are going to see Jim Everett and the LA Rams taking on Jerry Rice and the San Francisco 49ers as the second game of our doubleheader. Some of you will see the Giants at Los Angeles to meet the Raiders and Washington at Phoenix.
And here's the standings. It's going to be a close race all season long, I think, for this division. Especially with the Rams winning 2 games. Nobody expected them to be 2-2 at this stage.
They win that one today, they've got a share of first. 2nd and 9 play from the 38. Hayward in motion. Dalton Hilliard with the carry, and he did not get far. Benny Blades with the tackle.
And Blades is big and he's strong. He's like a linebacker playing safety. He comes up there and
he was a question mark today.
Yeah, he was a hamstring problem during the course of the week. He might have stretched it a little bit on the last play, the way he's gimping around. It looks like Chester.
Word from the league, new Miami Dolphin Keith Jackson has a pass reception touchdown today from Dan Marino. 3rd and 9. Crowd picks it up. Motion man is Carroll. Deflected. Nearest man to it was George Jameson.
Here's a tip. Right over the top. I can't see who that. Brochet, 91, got the hand up and knocked the ball.
Defensive struggle continues after this. From the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, New Orleans has a 3-0 lead over the Detroit Lions. 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. New Orleans will be on the ball with 2 timeouts to go, but this is a 4th and 9. Tommy Barnhart will kick. Mel Gray will be back. Try it to the 31. James Williams made the tackle. From football we shift to baseball. The battles of October begin Tuesday night. Doug Drabek will carry the hopes of the Pittsburgh Pirates to the mound against the Braves' John Smoltz. That's for the National League Championship. Coverage begins at 8:30 Eastern. Last year it took 7. Here, it'll take about 70 for the Lions to get a touchdown. They start from their own 30. 1:49 to go, first half.
Look at the big hole on the left side. They went to the right side that time. The big hole was on the opposite side. The end, the linebacker Swilling was way wide. Big hole on the left side, but they elected to go to the other way and didn't make much yardage on the play.
Frank Warren on the tackle. Quickly they go at it again. That was a 1-yard gain. Pete let it go. Perriman, was he in? He was indeed.
So you have to throw quickly against New Orleans, but sometimes not by design. You don't have to, but they make you throw quickly with that great pass rush.
Jimmy Spencer was the man who made the shove. As we tick down now to just over a minute. Pete again, working quickly. That one's on the money, and this time stepping out, Willie Green. Freezes the clock with 58 to go.
6 defensive backs the last time, and 8 played man-for-man coverage.
10-yard gain on the pass, so it'll be a 1st and 10 situation. Two different personalities, altogether different. Emotional Wayne Fonts, the studious Jim Mora. Lions put it in play from their own 44. Trailing in the game 3-0. Pete in the flat. Perriman. Out of bounds. Reginald Jones was the one who put him out.
And that's what they like to do to Barry Sanders, but the Saints are all over Sanders. They're watching him like he just robbed the bank.
Well, Pete's moving the ball well, exactly what he did in the final series of the game played last week against Tampa Bay. But he threw under to Perriman, thinking that Perriman could carry it in, but he was stopped at the 3, no timeouts, and the game ended. Aubrey Matthews, though covered, he got it.
You talk about a great catch and a great throw. Cedric Mack and Toy Cook were right there, and he got it right between both of them for the reception.
Lions are moving. They take a timeout. Jason Hansen just getting ready. Lions would like to get 6 plus a PAT for him. They're right now at the 32 of New Orleans. Comfort zone for him is hard to establish because he is a rookie out of Washington State. In training camp, he was kicking them 60. But in game conditions, you don't know. Pete 4 for 4 for 37 yards in passing on this drive. Perriman was the motion man. Pete drops back. Tries for Green, but too far. Reginald Jones on the coverage. Gene Atkins there too. 3 TD passes this year for Willie Green.
Man for man covers that time.
Jimmy Johnson is back in the lineup as a tight end. You know, it's interesting. Fonts was saying this week that it's very hard to get much of a flow going with your offense when you have so many guys hurt because they miss practice. Defense too, really. They miss practice, and it's not till the latter part of the week that they can get in tune. Sometimes it takes a half. Whoa! Big sack by Sam Mills. And now it's all the way back to the 40. Second sack for Mills.
He went through there like it was a screen pass that time. Watch the far right of your screen, number 51. Look where he is. Normally he's in the middle. Now look at where he is. He goes into the gap, and the tackle, Lomas Brown, just barely gets a piece of him. He goes flying by there and gets the sack. Good anticipation and a good jump.
Detroit has called timeout. Coming up at halftime, Greg and Terry with scores and highlights. Got a feeling a lot of the highlights are going to be field goals. Had a lot of those in the games thus far. Only one of them here, and that's the only score so far. Jim Mora's kicker got it. Morton Anderson from 50 yards out.
Sam Mills really had great anticipation, timed the count perfectly, got a good jump, ran right by the tackle before he had a chance to really deliver a blow and made the sack.
Already today, knocked down 5 times, 5 hurries, 2 sacks, 15 sacks on the year. And the knockdowns are the ones that you rarely hear about, but they take the biggest toll physically next to the sacks. 3rd and 17 on this play. 32 seconds to go.
6 defensive backs.
Yes. At the 20, Aubrey Matthews. Second reception of the day.
See, that time he had plenty of time to throw the ball, and they threw against the zone, a 3-deep zone. He curled right into the open area, and the ball was thrown perfectly, especially perfectly because it was thrown low. Look at the end zone shot. Good pass protection. There you see it. See, the ball is thrown low. There's no way in the world you can make a play on that kind of a ball.
18-yard gain on 3rd and 17. And the confidence factor on 3rd down plays starts to increase for the Lions too, because their percentage had been well below the league average. That's it for Detroit timeouts. Well, Hank, based on last week, do you think Rodney will throw under as opposed to the end zone this time? They are 20 yards out.
Well, you know, they explained that last week. You know, they were supposed to. He had specific instructions to throw the ball into the end zone. However, when he looked downfield, the receiver was wide open in the middle area, and he thought he could run in for the touchdown, but he didn't. He got tackled on the sideline. The game ended, and that was the end of it.
23 seconds to go in the first half here.
Your attention, please.
The worst thing about the Lions, they've had to go 3rd and 14 on every 3rd down situation. That's a job.
Rodney Peete has been equal to the task. 9th play coming up in this series. Perriman in motion. He arches one, and stepping out of bounds is Green. Reginald Jones with the coverage. They mark it at the 7. And 19 seconds to go.
And they're playing zone again. Look at the defensive back on the left part of your screen. Look at how deep he is off the ball. All the time in the world to make the catch. Jones, number 27, playing soft in the zone, lets him make the catch in front of him, but he's not going to let anybody get behind him.
This is game 5 and the 18th quarter played by the Lions, and this is their first offensive first and goal. Oh! Green got a piece of it and was almost able to hang on, but Reginald Jones put on enough pressure that he couldn't.
See, watch this now. Jones is there in good coverage. Doesn't have his hand on his back either. Goes over the top and knocks the ball down. If they have it in their offensive personality and scheme, a quarterback draw would be very, very good here because of the way the Saints come off the ball and rush the passer. It could be a big play. I don't know whether they'll do that or not, but it could be very effective.
They are out of timeouts. 14 seconds left. He'll toss again. Got the upright. But 7 seconds remain.
I tell you, you got to be very accurate to be running away from the goal line and hit the upright on that kind of a pass.
The Lions don't have much experience getting in deep. We mentioned this is the first series all year that they've had from inside the 10, inside the 20, 6 possessions, 3 field goals and a touchdown. The Saints were screaming after their loss that if they'd have just had a little more fortune. They had 5 turnovers last week on their offense, and 4 of them occurred inside the 35, and Morton Anderson could have hit from there if they'd have kept it. Touchdown! Perryman against his old team.
Man covers that time. Spencer trying to cover on the play.
6 becomes 7. This time the big drive late does not sputter.
Very efficient drive. Here's a replay of the touchdown. A lot of time to throw the ball right over the top, and there he is. It looked like Spencer. It looked like he might have slipped on the play. Doesn't have good balance. Look at this beautiful throw. Let's see what happens. Yeah, he was off balance trying to get back to make a play. We'll take another look at it. There it is again. Say, it looked like Spencer turned the knees to the inside, was trying to get back outside, was too late. The ball was there, touchdown.
Second touchdown pass of the year for Perryman, and was he ever happy?
Well, I talked to him before the game, and he looked like he was eating corn on the cob. All I saw was teeth. He was smiling. He said, I want to play against the Saints, and I want to have a big day. So far, he's done very well.
Interestingly, Detroit had the 2 tight ends at the time they scored the touchdown. Every one of their touchdowns this year has come with the tight ends in.
Well, that gives you a little bit more security, a little bit more. When you put the end in, then the linebacker has to come over him, and so you got somebody to block the linebacker who's not in there. Then a back has to pick him up, or nobody picks him up, and then you got a problem.
The bunt by Jason Hansen. Juggled a bit, but Derek Kennard pulls his way to the 35, and that takes care of it. Splendid low-scoring contest. The end of the first half with the score, the Lions 7 and the Saints 3.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller Reserve. Taste what barley does for beer. The heartbeat of America, Chevrolet, and your local Chevy dealer. And by Dean Witter. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time. The NFL Today Dockers Halftime Report is sponsored by Levi's Dockers. Nobody does color like Dockers.
And welcome back to our studios, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with Terry Bradshaw, the Detroit Lions leading the Saints 7-3. Barry Sanders, 6 carries, 22 yards. No one has much luck against the Saints defense, but they can't get him on track.
Yeah, you know, Greg, I'm watching that game, and same thing. And run a lot of draw traps, same thing, and there's no holes. Absolutely no place for Barry to run the football. Even when the tight end flexed out, there still are no lanes. So if you can't run the football, you're going to have to just go and win it with Pete's arm. And he's really, he's 12 for 20, 130 yards and 1 TD. Not a bad first half, but you got to get Sanders in there. He's a guy that can do it for you.
This is a big game for the Lions. They don't want to lose 2 straight under the Silver Dome. In Buffalo, the battle of the unbeatens. The Dolphins have not won in Buffalo since 1986, but as they approach halftime at Rich Stadium, the Dolphins lead the Bills 17-3. Keith Jackson, 3 receptions, 55 yards, and a touchdown in his debut as a Dolphin. They have gone to halftime in Minnesota, where the Vikings trail the Bears 13-0 at halftime. Kevin Butler, with this 50-yard field goal, became the Chicago Bears' all-time leading scorer. He had 2 of them before the Bears put a touchdown on the board. Meanwhile, Rich Gannon had a big week last week, having a tough week so far today.
Yeah, this is a good Bear pressure. That was just a poor decision that time. Forcing the ball into the corner, man coverage, 2 guys on that guy, just pitch it out of the end zone.
And then just before halftime, Jim Harbaugh hit Tom Waddle with a 28-yard touchdown pass, 13-0 Bears at halftime. In Tampa, the Bucs lead the Colts at the break, 14-7. Jeff George, in his first start of the season, 3 for 13, 57 yards, and a couple of interceptions. At Atlanta, the Falcons lead the Packers 14-0 at halftime. Chris Miller having a good day. Brett Favre putting numbers on the board, but no points. This is Miller's 2-yard touchdown pass to Mike Pritchard, and then he came back with a 10-yarder to Andre Rison.
This is a great, normally this is a fade route, but if the defensive back is even with the receiver, you throw it underneath it. You throw it behind him and let your receiver adjust. Beautiful job by Miller. Outstanding read by Rison.
And the Packers, riding a 2-game winning streak, are behind by 2 touchdowns. And the NFL continues here on CBS after this word from your local station. Welcome back to our New York studios, everyone. This is a doubleheader NFL Sunday here on CBS. Coming up, some of you will see the Giants and the Raiders, or the Redskins against the Cardinals. Most of you will see the Rams against the 49ers. And Pat Summerall and John Madden are at Candlestick with a report.
You know, John, in talking to both George Seifert of the 49ers and Chuck Knox of the Rams yesterday, both were concerned about the tremendous number of big hits, vicious hits in some cases, that their wide receivers are taking.
Yeah, I think the wide receivers are taking way too many hits inside. They changed the rules where the defensive backs can't really get physical with the receivers before the ball gets there. And I think what they're doing now is when a guy gets the ball, especially in the middle of the field, they're just teeing off on him and taking some shots. And I think something has to be done about it. I know Jerry Rice is one of the greatest receivers that's ever played this game. He's played 4 games. He's already had 2 concussions.
Now, what's to be done about it if he so chooses?
Well, one of the things the 49ers are doing, they're thinking of using this helmet that has a special pad and, put it on Jerry Rice's regular helmet, and it just fits right over the helmet. And it's held on by Velcro. And I think after you've had, again, 2 concussions in 4 games, you have to start thinking of doing something, because the 49ers do have to get the ball to Rice.
They certainly do, and we'll be watching whatever he wears, how they get him involved. Now back to New York and Greg Gumbel.
All right, thanks, Pat. Some of the people in the other game that we'll see, one of the other games we'll see, the Giants against the Raiders, some people had written the Giants off, but they have a chance to pull even today.
Well, there's a couple of things pop out about those Giants, Greg. Number one, I think Phil Simms played excellent, especially in the second half in their Monday night game against the Bears, where Simms took them on 80 and 74 yards for touchdowns. But one thing really pops into my mind is this guy named Ed McCaffrey, a second-year receiver. This guy's got like 14 or 15 receptions. He, along with Baker and Cross at tight end, all of a sudden, which didn't have a receiving core, these guys have really come up with Simms passing. And I think it's the passing game of the Giants right now that's really kind of got them going. They already have Hampton running the ball, and the defense now is kind of responding to the success of their offense.
Yeah, big game for both teams. That's coming up for some of you, but right now let's send you back to the stadium and the game you're watching here on CBS.
Back here again at halftime, Detroit ahead 7-3. As you looked into your crystal ball earlier today, Hank, does this look like what you thought we'd see?
Well, I thought we'd probably have a tough scoring game as far as field position and that kind of thing is concerned, although I thought it'd be a little bit more wide open than it has been. But both teams are doing a very good job defensively. And the big problem for the Saints really is the fact that they've had such bad field position. They've had to go 82 yards every time they got the ball. That's very difficult to do.
Well, they've had to try 2 field goals. The first one failed from 47, but the second one did not. Morton Anderson, and good news for Saints fans, he didn't have to have heat treatments to the tendonitis in his kicking leg. Nailed one from 50, was pretty happy. That made it 3-0. Tied with Nick Lowry, Kansas City, with 19 50 or better yard field goals. Made it 3-0, but just 3 seconds left in the first half when Rodney Peete connected 7 yards to the one-time New Orleans Saint, their second-round draft pick, Brett Perryman.
Yes, well, I think what happened, Spencer was covering on the play. I think he got twisted, and in the process of trying to recover, while the pass was completed, school was out. That was all there was to it, and they get 7 points on the play.
Interesting first half. Second half will be coming up a little later on.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mitsubishi. The word is getting around. Florsheim ComfortTech shoes. Try a pair and get comfortable. And by Edge Shaving Gel. Ultimate closeness, ultimate comfort. That's the Edge.
Rodney Peete with a splendid first half, though he was a question mark earlier today. Jim Mora looks on, and the halftime statistics would give you the idea that the Saints were just hammering Detroit. Not the case.
Look at the time of possessions, New Orleans 18:33. But they've had terrible field position, as I indicated at halftime, and that's what the difference has been.
From the end zone, Mel Gray. Twisting and turning, Tommy Stowers made the hit.
Rushing yards, 75-22 for Detroit, but the big difference, the only thing that matters is that they're ahead 7-3. Look at Rodney Peete, 12 of 20, 136 yards and 1 touchdown. Of course, Hebert's 6 of 8.
Yeah, it's no slouch either.
And nothing wrong with that. But again, as I mentioned, they've not had good field position, and that's really been the difference.
Field position for the Lions is their own 25. Perryman in motion. Peete looking, but nailing him is Ricky Jackson. 3rd sack of the day.
Good coverage on the play. He was ready to throw the ball, had no place to throw it, provided more time for Jackson, and he gets in there and gets the penetration and makes the sack. Boy, what a great player he's been year in and year out for such an extended period of time, Ricky Jackson.
8 sacks in 3 prior games against Detroit. His first one today. 3rd overall for the Saints in the contest. 2nd and 11. Jimmy Johnson lumbers in motion and then pulls back. The give to Sanders. A flag. And a second one from either side of the field. Sam Mills with the tackle. Will this be on the Lions offense again?
Well, it looks like it might be, and they had a tight end in the game. They ran a conventional off-tackle play. It was against the Detroit Lions. They're probably going to turn the penalty down. I would guess they would.
Illegal motion, offense. 2 men moving simultaneously at the snap. Penalty refused. 3rd down.
An old Canadian football play there. Formation. 2 guys moving.
Were you ever attracted to the CFL by any means when you were just trying to break into professional coaching?
I went up there for a visit one time and talked to the people, but I didn't do it.
Didn't like midfield at the 55 and the wide field? Or maybe the weather, Hank?
The weather.
Another sack. Wayne Martin. 4th one today by the Saints.
I tell you, Wayne Martin is really getting better and better and better every week. And as I mentioned earlier, he's putting a lot of pressure up the middle along with Frank Warren, along with the two outside linebackers. Boy, that's very, very difficult to compete with.
Well, Martin had a tremendous game against San Francisco last Sunday night. 6 solos and forced an intentional grounding penalty to Steve Young. But right now the focus is to Lewis Lips. Jim Arnold to put the toe into it. Arnold has had a great day. Lips from the 22. Harry Colin fired up with that big tackle.
I tell you, both teams are doing a terrific job on the specialty teams.
That was a 53-yard punt. The return was 4. Steve Trapillo will not be back this afternoon. X-rays do not show a break, but rather it's been diagnosed as a sprained foot. Trapillo, the Saints offensive lineman. Vaughn Dunbar got to the 29. Jerry Ball tripped him up.
Tripped up by Jerry Ball.
9 carries for 41 yards for Dunbar so far this afternoon.
Well, the big thing with them, they have to get it out of the soup, so to speak, and get better field position so they can open up their attack a little bit. But it looks like every time they go right at them, why they pick up some good yardage, and they usually move the chains.
2nd and 7. If you're just joining us, early going second half. 7-3, the Lions ahead. On the money to Hilliard. Chased out around the 40. Enough for a first down.
See, that's the great thing about Hilliard. He gives you a very good running dimension, plus he's an excellent receiver, plus the fact that he's able to pick up the blitzes.
Clutching the knee. Bobby Hebert is down. Mike Kofer is the one who hit him. And so limbering up is Mike Buck.
Here we see the shot. Kofer is blitzing from the outside. Oh, he hits him right on the outside of the left knee. And he was really kind of falling, if the way it looked. Kofer, I'm talking about, 55, and wound up hitting him right into the left knee.
Hebert yields to Mike Buck, at least for now.
Here's another look at that play. Here you see Kofer coming to the outside, got blocked by Cooper, and kind of fell into the knee. Watch him. He's in the process of and Cooper really pushes him, trying to push him down, and knocked him right into Bobby Hebert, and he hit the outside, the left side of the left leg.
3rd-year pro out of the University of Maine. Mike Buck on the give, and a quick smear by Mike Kofer.
Kofer missed most of last year with a bad knee, but he's come back slowly, and he's coming on better and better every game that he's playing, and this is probably the best game he's played so far this year.
Mike Buck came into professional football with 27 Maine Black Bear career passing marks. The first play of his pro career against Atlanta last year was a 61-yard flea flicker completion to Floyd Turner. 2nd and 13. He too is hit, and that is incomplete. Robert Porcher put him to the turf.
Man-for-man coverage on the play. Porcher makes the pass rush. As Bobby Hebert limbering up the left leg, it's good that he can move it as well as he's moving it, so maybe it's just a little bruise and not a bad spring.
6 defensive backs in for the Lions. 3rd down and 13. And here comes the crowd again. Eric Martin Martin with the catch. And as so many catches have been today, it was not sure-handed, but he had it.
It's short of the first down, and the other thing about it is, you know, in this game so far, they've only thrown one pass to Emerick Martin until the last one. Now he's got two.
They're going to hurry for a kick here. Tommy Barnard to punt it. Mel Gray dropping back, just now arriving near the 10. The hurry seems to have resulted in a little confusion. But he got it off. Fair catch. 16. So the Lions ahead 7-3. Hebert Ailing will be right back. Over the last half minute, Hebert did some running in place. Went to one of the team positions with his palms upturned. That may indicate he'll come back. Hank, were you surprised that Mike Buck came in and not Steve Walsh?
Well, I haven't seen Buck play, and so I was, you know, I've seen Walsh play, and he's been in this situation many, many times. He's won a lot of games for the Saints. So this is kind of a surprise in this situation.
A fumble and the recovery by Frank Warren. A Detroit turnover at the 14. And so the Saints get a big chance now. We'll see who they bring in at quarterback.
Frank Warren, 73, gets into the backfield, sees the ball bouncing around, falls on it. It's a lot of pressure on that ball when he falls on it, I guarantee it. Look at the bad exchange. The ball never got a chance to be delivered to Barry Sanders.
Bobby Hebert is in. They're good at it. Martin to the left. Early to the right.
Good time right here for a play action pass.
But they go to Ironhead Hayward, and he goes to the 10. George Jameson made the stop. So the Saints warm to the task with a Hayward carry. Medical report on Bobby Hebert, twisted knee, so no sprain.
And he's tough. He's played with, he's been hurt many, many times in the past. He's not surprised that he's back in there right now.
2nd and 6 from the 10. 7-3 Detroit. Third quarter. Dunbar to the 5 and staggers to the 2. Dennis Gibson tripped him up.
Dunbar carried the ball to the left side. Chris Spielman on the stop for Detroit.
Watch the blocking at the point of attack. All three linemen and Denard pulling on the play. Hayward out in front. Dunbar goes through a would-be tackler and picks up an extra 5 yards. That's how you really decide how good a back is how much yardage he makes after he's been hit the first time.
Like the Lions, this is not a good team indeed. But we'll see. Dunbar. Not quite. Jerry Ball with the tackle. Chris Spielman was there too.
Tackled by Jerry Ball.
I tell you, he's got great explosion. Talking about Dunbar, look at the right side again. Look at Dabrowski, number 72, pulling on a play. Hayward blocking out in front. And Jerry Ball, 93, comes from the inside and makes the tackle. He's a terrific player. They call him, last year they called him the mayor, now they're calling him the governor.
This might be the first one.
To the right side.
Dunbar, touchdown.
There it is.
Ironhead Hayward led the blocking.
Yes,
and
sir.
Dunbar has put the Saints ahead 9-7.
Defensive right, the ball wing back on the left side. They had an advantage. They got a good push. Watch it coming off the ball, blocking down. Watch Hayward coming out in front, blocks the defensive back, and they go in for the touchdown.
For Dunbar, this is his first time in pay dirt. And for the Saints, their first rushing touchdown of the season.
And Dennis Gibson, 98, got a good shot at him, but he ran right through his arms and into the end zone.
Anderson, the kick. 10-7.
It's time for Detroit.
The Saints back up by 3. Dunbar has a touchdown and also a football. Steve Walsh, backup quarterback, got the ball and took it over to present it to Dunbar, and so he'll have that one for his trophy case. First time in pay dirt. Mel Gray. Damon Winston got him. Or Gray might have been off to the races. Coming up next for most of you, the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. Giants at Los Angeles to play the Raiders, and Washington at Phoenix among the other offerings for game 2 of our CBS NFL doubleheader.
Unusual for Anderson. He's kicked 4 kickoffs this afternoon, none of which have gone into the end zone.
Especially when you consider that we're indoors. Sanders got loose but was tripped up from behind by Brett Maxey. Good second and third effort by Maxey to reach him.
Here we see a replay of it. Starting to his right. Now this thing he does so great. Look at this. Starts to his right, goes back to his left, and finally Maxey is able to corral him and knock him down after a nice gain on the play.
The gain was 10. 8 for 35 yards today for Barry Sanders. Another sack. Wayne Martin with it. Sack number 5 today by the Saints. The second for Martin.
I tell you, he's been making a statement in each game, and he's getting better and better all the time. I mentioned it earlier in the game, but there's another great illustration of Martin getting the penetration, getting a sack.
Boy, the battle of emotion goes back and forth so much. Detroit carried it into the locker room with that late strike to go ahead.
Well, the emotional part of it, like the stock market, it's up and down.
It sure has been in the second. Detroit with a turnover, a fumble, and quickly a conversion by the Saints for a touchdown. Incompleted pass intended for Sanders. Now for an NFL Today report. Let's go to New York and Greg Gumbel. Greg?
All right, Mark. At the Metrodome, Jim Harbaugh on the quarterback draw from 6 yards out into the end zone, and the Bears increase their lead over the Vikings. 4.5 to play in the third. It's 20-0 Chicago. Michael?
So the Bears trying to get a share of that division lead. They are 2-2. Minnesota 3-1. On third down plays, the Lions are 4 for 8. This is 3rd and 14. Again, another 3rd and long situation for Rodney Peete. That one hit Aubrey Matthews in the leg.
They're not getting to the quarterback, but they're providing a lot of pressure, and he's throwing the ball before he really wants to. The defense of the New Orleans Saints, that front four, is coming off the ball like they're all in starting blocks.
So things have gone sour for the Lions here in the second half. 6:43 to go in the third quarter.
That's what happens when the field position aspect of it changes. It changes when he got possession on the fumble. Makes all the difference in the world whether you play in a short field or a long one.
Let's see what field position will be here as Arnold boots it, and Lewis's Lips is there to take it from the 23. Bear hugged and smashed down at the 38. But a 15-yard return. Tracy Scroggins with the tackle, but New Orleans with the lead.
Watch the left knee now. Watch the left knee of Scoggins. Look at this. He gives him a little massage right in the face with that with that left knee.
Just a little exclamation point on a pretty decisive tackle.
Hey,
that was a body
accurate.
slam.
Hey, that's pretty accurate with that left knee, too, to hit him right in the jaw.
And not be looking. Two to the right, one to the left. for the Saints as they start this one up from their own 39.
Look at that pass protection fake. Look at all the time he's got.
Torrance Small could not hang on. Good hit by William White.
But did you see the pass protection after the play action fake? That's what it does. They all take a sniff of that fake, and as a result, you got all the time in the world to throw the ball. A misdirection, a bootleg of some kind would be very effective also for the Saints because they're chasing all over the place. Talking about the Detroit Lions.
Hebert working on a good day. 7 for 10 and 93 passing yards. Quinn Early, Emerick Martin out to the left. Torrance Small to the right. Dunbar across the 40 to the 43. Chris Spielman made the stop. The Lions are in the basement. And this is a big month for them, but this game in particular is huge because they have had a mystique at home that was broken last week by Tampa Bay.
And it's allowed to be broken here again this afternoon, the way things are going. We got a long way to go in this game, but it's been nip and tuck.
Lions went 1-4 at the start of '83, came back to take the NFC Central, but that was considered a miracle. 3rd and 5.
Watch Martin or Hilliard.
On the money, Torrance Small makes the catch. A gain of 10.
Boy, that was a big league catch. That kid last week caught 4 catches, and he comes right back here in 3rd down. Look at the time he has to throw the ball. Low ball, but he still sucks it up, puts a vacuum sweeper on it, and maintains possession.
That is another 1st down for the Saints.
Boy, that was a great catch by Small. And I talked to Jim Finch the other day, had lunch with him in New Orleans, and he bragged about Small a lot. He thinks he's going to be a great prospect, and he really likes the overall talent and ability of this football team.
1st and 10. Quinn Early left. Emerick Martin right. Chris Spielman makes the tackle. Dunbar did not get very far on that one.
Well, they pull the right guard and the right tackle. They got a slow leak from the backside. That's how you have to attack that counter trade play. That's the old counter trade play of the Washington Redskins, where they were by. They pull the right guard and the right tackle, try to get some power at the point of attack, but they got a leak that time and didn't succeed.
Spielman's 11th tackle. 3rd week in a row he's been in double digits, and he's led the Lions in the tackle department ever since he arrived. 5 defensive backs for the Lions this time. 2nd down and 10. 4:10 and the clock moving. That's the time remaining in the 3rd quarter. 10-7 the Saints. He rolls. Martin had it, but it was knocked loose on a crunching hit from Kevin Scott.
Surprised that Bobby could run that well after that bump he got, but he's outside of containment, running well, and then dumps the ball off. And watch Martin there again. That's when it happens when you throw the ball high. You see, you have a hard time making that kind of a catch.
Well, he's been pinpoint on the low ones. This is a 3rd down play. 3rd down and 10. The Saints are 3 for 7 on 3rd down plays today. For 8. And Martin swung out of bounds by William White. 1st down for New Orleans.
Very simple inside receiver. Martin, 84, just goes down and breaks out into the flat. Look, he's wide open. Looks like he ran him right out of the bleachers. Makes the catch, goes down the sideline, uses a straight arm in good shape, and is finally thrown out of bounds by White, number 35.
Emerick Martin wears quarterback shoulder pads.
He doesn't need big ones. He's big enough. Talking to him yesterday, weighs 215. He's strong as an ox upstairs. That's why he catches so many balls in traffic.
Speaking of strong as an ox, Ironhead Hayward plunged forward to the 29. Robert Porcher made the stop.
See, you have to get in the groove. I don't care who the running back is. You just can't run the ball one time and then the next quarter run it again, and maybe a little later run it again. You have to get in the flow and the rhythm of the game. And I mentioned this many times. Every great back that I've ever talked to in the National Football League say they have to carry the ball 12 to 15 times before they really get in the rhythm and flow of the game.
Well, Hayward has come up with an average of a little over 4 on his carries.
Yeah, he's averaging 5 yards, five carries a game. Look at all the room on the right side.
Dunbar escapes. And a second time until Benny Blades was able to make the tackle.
Counter play again. And I tell you, boy, he gets to that hole in a big hurry. Watch the left guard, Dombrowski. Cooper pulling on the play. Look at this. Dombrowski gets a good block from the inside out. And, of course, Dunbar, the first guy, very rarely ever gets the tackle on him. Boy, he's got terrific explosion.
Well, he gained 10 on that one. Another first down. They spot it at the 19. Clock ticks down to 2:10 to go, third quarter. If you're just joining us, 10-7, the Saints lead. Hebert connects. Vaughn Dunbar run out of bounds, and they mark it at the 8. Dennis Gibson shoved him out. Pickup of 11.
Yeah, they're pounding on the Lions now. They're wearing them down a little bit. Doing a good job of getting a good push. And, of course, the play action stuff is working beautifully. It's good to see Dunbar being worked into that play action stuff. They like to use him, but he's not quite as familiar as Hilliard with the blocking assignments when the blitzes come. So that's why they're a little bit cautious, especially at the other end of the field.
Early to the left, Martin to the right.
Look at all the room on the right side of that receiver.
They go left side and down to the 5. Jerry Ball made the tackle. So Vaughn Dunbar continues to work.
Okay, watch this now. Look at Ball maintaining possession. Look at that. And he makes the tackle. I mentioned this point in another game several weeks ago. You see, when you're that size, when you get hit, Ball hit him right in the head, because that's a natural place to hit him, because he doesn't even have to bend over to hit the little guy, see?
Great possession for New Orleans, wearing down the Detroit defense in the final 51 seconds of the third quarter. Dunbar again. Stopped at the 4 by Benny Blades. We spoke earlier of the emotion. If the Lions can hold them off here, they'll at least have gotten something out of this third quarter back that they had as they left the field after the second.
I tell you, Wayne Fontes is a very emotional coach, and he instills that motivation into this football team, especially when they play at home. They're murdered.
The crowd is up.
Look at the big hole on the left side. Look at the big hole on the left side.
Crowd will have to get ready for another one of those plays from the 4 when we come back, because the third quarter is over. The Saints lead by 3.
Where's the ball?
10-7 as we start the fourth quarter of a defensive struggle. In the third quarter, it was Vaughn Dunbar with a 1-yard run. Ironhead Hayward led the blocking, and that put New Orleans back ahead of Wayne Fontes' crew, 10-7. But it is a 3rd and goal from the 4.
Well, that defense of the Lions has gotten a lot of attention, a lot of work in this third quarter.
Hebert back. Across, but not in.
Man-for-man coverage, Benny Blades. Yeah, what a great play by Blaze. Look, they try to clear it out with the first two guys, and the outside receiver comes across. I can't understand. You would think that you think that you would run that kind of a pattern to make sure you got the ball in the end zone. You see? But anyway, Blaze did a fantastic job of making the coverage and also the tackle.
Last week at the same end of the field, the Lions came up short on a pass play. So an Anderson field goal attempt is good. So the Lions' deficit is 6. We'll return to the Pontiac Silverdome after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. 13 plays, 58 yards, 20-yard field goal by Anderson. Took 7 minutes and 17 seconds off the clock.
You know, the Saints in the first 4 games they played averaged 25-44 possession time. So far, going into the third quarter, they've already got 29-57.
Morton Anderson. And Mel Gray. To the 17 before he was stopped. Tuesday night, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Atlanta Braves, just like last year. But will it be last year's finish? Game 1, Tuesday night, 8:30 Eastern. 2 15-game winners will go at it in Game 1. Here at the Pontiac Silverdome, 14:02 to go in the fourth quarter.
Total offense for New Orleans, 82 yards in the second half. Detroit, 7.
Johnson and Hinnett are in. So the tight ends are in now for Detroit. Pete chased. And goes down at the 23.
See, the reason they're using the tight ends in the game now, they want some more security, plus the fact that they can get better protection, plus the fact there's a chance that they can incorporate some play action passes with a lot more efficiency than they can when the tight ends are out.
And you said earlier the Saints kind of like it when the tight ends are in there, so the Saints with the lead are getting their way.
Well, at this stage of the game, I think this is the best thing for the Lions to do, to change the personality of their offense. They haven't done much at all. They might get a little bit more punch with 2 tight ends or 1 tight end.
Try to get some punch from Sanders, but they won't get any. Wayne Martin with the big tackle. For an NFL Today report, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Mike, at the Metrodome, the Vikings get on the board. Todd Scott, 3 interceptions last week, picks this one off and goes 35 yards for a touchdown. It's a 20-7 Chicago lead over the Vikings. 14 minutes to play in the fourth, Mike.
So the Bears give up 1 in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter has been a disastrous quarter for the Lions so far this season. Try to change some history on this drive. 3rd down and 3. He has time, but not much now. Gets it away, but well off the mark for Perriman. Ricky Jackson with the pressure.
The miracle, they got rid of that football that time and had the composure to know where to throw it. That should have been a sack.
Wayne Fonts wanted the crowd to make some noise, but this is not music to Lions' ears right now. So Louis Lips back out onto the field to receive a Jim Arnold kick. 12:28 to go in the fourth quarter. The Saints put together a tremendous march that used up a little over 7¼ minutes on the clock, and they'll try to do the same thing now.
Yeah, the Saints are dominating, totally dominating this game at this stage of the game. And they're going to wind up in good field position again.
Lips at the 24. Still loose. The Lions want a safety. What they're going to get is a conference.
by rule, we have the ball muffed all the way into the end zone. We've got a touchback, first down.
The fans don't buy it. Jim Mora relieved.
Greatly relieved.
A muff only, not possession. Sean Lumpkin was the guy who came up with it in the end zone, but because it was ruled a muff all the way from the 24 back in, the Saints are going to hear the fans just as the referee and linesman did. Dunbar nailed by Jerry Ball.
On the punt return, Louis Lips tried to catch the ball from the side instead of getting in front of the ball. And as a result, they had nothing to stop the ball from going through the hands, and that's what happened. It was poor technique on the catch. Here we see it again. Watch him. Now he's in front. Now he tries to catch it on the side, you see, and it goes right through his hands. Instead of having his body as a backdrop, he doesn't have anything at all. If he bobbles the ball, they went right on through.
Renner and Stowers are in at tight end. Torrance Small split out as well. Dunbar to the 25. George Jameson with a tackle. All last season, the Lions gave up 54 fourth-quarter points. On the 20-yard Anderson field goal, just 48 seconds into the fourth quarter, they have tied that, and this is their 5th game of the year. It can go south on you pretty fast, can't it?
Look at his shoe get caught in the helmet there. Look at that. White. Watch that. He must, yeah, that's White, 35. Looked like he had some gum on his shoe and he got stuck.
3rd down and 5. Complete at the 31. Wesley Carroll made the reception. We'll see where they mark it. They'll call it the 32, and that's enough for a first down.
Here we see it in from the end zone. Watch this now. Good protection. Look at all the time. He's got the good alley to throw the ball. Carroll catches the ball in traffic and maintains good possession. I mean, look at the way he's squeezing that football. Great job by Carroll.
First catch of the day for Wesley Carroll.
And I keep emphasizing how well Bobby Hebert throws the ball at the numbers.
Clock moving. Hebert moved too. And got the pass on the money to Tommy Stowers.
Hebert and Stowers on the pass completion. White and Gibson on the stop.
As you size up those scores,
how about
Wayne
Miami?
Fonts has to size up what's happening to his team here.
Is that?
Flag on the play, so again we get a conference. Let's hear it.
We're picking up the flag. There's no penalty on the field after discussion. Brings up 2nd down.
Wayne Fonts doesn't like that. Just under 70,000 fans here, booing a couple of calls. We go to New York for a special report from CBS News. We'll keep you advised of any further developments there. Here in Detroit, 4th down and a kicking down for the New Orleans Saints, who have the lead in the game 13-7. Clock ticking down to 8:05 to go in the 4th quarter.
Boy, Detroit did a great job of fading that draw play to Hilliard.
Tommy Barnhart to kick. Mel Gray is back waiting for it at the 15. Forces him to the 7. Got to the 27. Reginald Jones made the tackle. A 20-yard return on a 54-yard punt. Key time in the game for Jim Mora and for Detroit. Missed a series with a twisted knee, but has returned to lead the Saints to a touchdown. Rodney Peete not good in the second half, has not completed a pass yet in 3 tries.
And they've only had 14 total yards in the second half.
1st and 10 from the 28. He got it off. He got it complete to Mike Farr. Vaughn Johnson was there near Farr and just made the touch.
Well, that time Pat Swilling was on the left side instead of the right side, and Jackson was on the right side. They're trying to confuse the blocking responsibilities of Detroit by moving them around a little bit. They're not doing it nearly as much as they did against the Falcons a week or so ago.
2nd and 4. In motion, Perrin. Peete got a good block from Sanders and then tossed to him, and in traffic Sanders tries to get loose. There's a penalty marker down.
Swilling was offside on the play, I think, the left linebacker. He's playing on the left side instead of the right side, and I think he jumped prematurely. I don't know for sure, but we'll see in a minute.
Sanders got as far as the 35. That would turn out to be a gain of only a yard or so.
Gee, it's on Detroit. I thought it was on the left linebacker Swilling on the play. Evidently not.
Ineligible man downfield on a passing team, 65 and 66. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Another setback through penalty to the offensive team. So to the 24 they'll put it. Farr is out and Johnson is in. Jimmy Johnson, the tight end.
You have to give this defense a tremendous amount of credit. What a great job they're doing, and they've done all year long. New Orleans Saints.
2nd and 14. Lock the enemy of the Lions, even though the deficit is only 6. No. An attempt for Perryman fails. For an NFL Today report, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Mike, the Bears continue to have their problems in the second halves of games this year. Rich Gannon rolls left, finds Chris Carter in the end zone for a 16-yard touchdown. And with 9.5 to play, they trail the Bears now 20-14 in the 4th, Mike.
So the Vikings coming back. We're in October now. The Bears, a splendid September team, only were 2-2 in September. And Decembers in the past 5 years have been disasters for the Bears. So they're sort of at a crossroads, just as the Detroit Lions are here. Under 6.5 to play in the 4th quarter. Again, an incompletion. Well, you think that foot's bothering him now? I don't know if it's affecting his throwing or not. He's only 2 of the last 9 for completions. He and Perryman just not in sync as they were earlier. Lewis Lips back on the field in a punt return capacity. Jim Arnold to boot it. His longest today was the last one at 53.
He's got a great foot. You talk about a thunder foot.
Forces Lips back to the 22 and down. Melvin Jenkins with the great coverage. 55-yard kick. -1 on the return. -6 for Detroit on the scoreboard. 13-7. New Orleans in the lead. 6:09 left in the fourth quarter. And they start a drive that they hope will take care of most of the rest of the clock and also get them some points.
You got to be careful they don't turn it over for the Lions to have good field position like they had earlier in the game, talking about the Saints.
Ron Dunbar tripped up from behind, fell forward to the 23. Melvin Jenkins was the man who tripped him up.
You know, it's amazing the way this game has gone. The personality of the game has been such where the Saints have totally dominated this game. But in spite of that, why the Detroit Lions are just one play from being back in control of the game. If they get a touchdown, they're ahead by one.
Well, that's
so they have to score again.
Yeah.
Talking about New Orleans.
Deceptive things about the numbers. Another number that you'll probably hear more about later on is a 103-yard interception return that occurred at Buffalo. Lewis Oliver had it for the Dolphins. 2nd and 7. Hayward got across to the 27. William White tripped him up. I know you like to see Hayward in the lineup more. Do you like this conservative sort of ball control?
Well, they're ahead of the game right now, and they're trying to take as much time off the clock as they possibly can. This is what they like to do. This is what their personality is. This is what they like to do best. So this is what they're going to do. They're going to try to get it out here and take as much time off the clock and hope they can score.
Hayward and Hilliard in the backfield. 3rd and 2. Caught by Eric Martin, and that's a first down. Well, just short of the 40.
Incredible. There was good coverage on that play. He just took the ball out of the air and with those strong hands made the catch. Play action pass to our left. Look at this. Good time. Look at no rush whatsoever. Finally gets the ball outside. Look at the cover. You couldn't cover a guy any better than that.
Reactions much more positive today than last Sunday. First and 10. Ball at the 38. Far right, you see the most important factor for the Saints right now, in addition to their 6-point lead. They've got the clock going. Ironhead Hayward, tackled by George Jameson. Clock halted right now. We have an injury. 2 Lions were sitting on the turf, and now they both get up, so they seem to be fine.
The Lions have to desperately try to get possession of that ball some way. The only way they can get back in this contest, and of course, conversely, why the Saints have to maintain possession of it, move the ball like they're doing now, and take as much time off of that clock as they possibly can. And I'm sure next time they get a first down or close again, they'll do work on the play action passes again. They've been very effective for them.
Done a splendid job at that and moving the clock not only in the 3rd, but especially here in the 4th once they got the lead. Coming up next, some of you will see Jim Everett and the Los Angeles Rams taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Jerry Rice will be there, but the Giants will be in Los Angeles to meet the Raiders and Washington at Phoenix. Most of you will see the game from Candlestick Park.
And you know the funny thing about that Rams-San Francisco game, the Rams have always played extremely good against San Francisco in San Francisco.
They've lost 5 of the last 6 overall to the 49ers, but have won 3 of the last 5 at Candlestick Park. Brenner and Stowers, the tight ends, and this is right up the middle. Dalton Hilliard, stopped by Dennis Gibson. And the clock keeps moving to 3:35.
That's the big thing about it. They're taking their time. Hebert watches the clock and snaps the ball about 3 seconds before it expires. Barry Sanders on the sideline is probably still scratching his head trying to figure out why he hasn't been able to make more yardage.
Detroit with a timeout. We'll be right back. A 3rd down and 1 play is coming up. Detroit with 1 timeout left. And you see the vitals on this one, 13-7 the Saints. Yeah, they have faith. They saw a lot last year. They haven't yielded yet. Does Hayward get the one? He got one and a little more. And that's a first down and enough for the Saints to work the clock some more.
There you go. There's an illustration of moving the pile. The offensive lineman got off the ball in good shape and got a good push. But Ironhead banged it in there tough. Kennard got a good block at the point of attack, number 60, the right guard, and also the right tackle, Stan Brock. You know, the one thing the Saints wanted to do, they wanted to get Barry Sanders out of this game, and they thought they'd win. The Lions have had 42 offensive plays. Sanders has been involved in only 9. That tells you the story, along with the great defense of the New Orleans Saints.
How important was that first down? Detroit is out of timeouts. Ball just across the 50. Jim Morris said yesterday, we're 2-2. We could be 4-0, but we also could be 0-4. All of the games have been close.
That's been true of several other teams in the league. It's been a crazy season.
No cigar to light on this one yet. Hilliard dragged down. Back at the 49 for a loss by Jerry Ball. Clock ticking down to 3:10. Well, they're working him a little bit, but it's a little bit late too. I think Wayne Fontes may have been concerned not only about his team's health, but also about their stamina, because they did a lot more running in practice this week.
Yeah, but you know, when those big guys lean on you, as much as the Saints have leaned on those linemen, offensive linemen of theirs, why, you're going to get tired.
Vaughn Dunbar back in, and Hilliard comes out in the backfield for New Orleans.
See, at a time like this, when they're tired, this is a good time. Dunbar could maybe break one with those good legs of his and his speed and quick. He could break one for a big game.
2nd and 12. Well, it wasn't big, but it was enough to chew the clock up some more to the 45-yard line. A flag is down. Benny Blades with the tackle. So the offside against Detroit. Clock frozen for this. That'll help the Lions a little bit.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, number 98, repeat 2nd down.
Benny Blades is limping and headed off the field.
And what a great game he's played.
Benny Blades was a question mark coming into today's contest.
The specialty teams of both of these teams have done very, very well. I talked about Frank Gantz earlier in the game. The specialty team coach, Joe Marciano, for the Saints, has done a terrific job also.
The hamstring that was a problem earlier in the week. Not certain what it was now, but on the 2nd and 5 situation, headed forward is Ironhead Hayward. Clock ticks down to 2:17, and the Lions can do nothing to stop it. If you're just joining us, this is 13-7 in favor of the New Orleans Saints as we're ticking down to the 2-minute warning. We'll return to the Silverdome in Pontiac in just a moment. The Saints are in a good position on the scoreboard and on the field. But we've talked all day about how difficult it's been all season for the Saints to come up with good possession time. But this is dominant possession time today. What's the strategy for the Lions now?
Well, they have to tackle the ball. They have to do everything they possibly can to get a turnover to try to get back into this game. That's the only thing they can possibly do.
Third and 2 from the 42. Early in motion. Dunbar down. Dennis Gibson with the tackle.
Dunbar, from the very first play of the game, ran that play successfully, and I think prematurely in his own mind, when the call is made, he instinctively thinks he's going to run the ball outside again. Look at this. He goes outside again. Nobody blocked Gibson at all, and he gets penetration and makes the tackle.
Mel Gray is back. Clock down to 90 seconds. Lions out of timeouts. Tommy Barnhart to kick it. And they'll take their time. Just got it off before the clock expired. And waiting on it this time is Gray. So can Rodney Peete engineer another one of the late fourth quarter surges like he did last week, the one that fell short?
It's a tough assignment against this great defense of the New Orleans Saints to have to go, what is it, 80 yards?
Not been a good second half at all.
Look at this, -1. Their own 25, 17, 28, 17, 28. Bad, very bad field position. And of course, the one fumble killed them.
Only the coaches will remember that if Detroit can go 87 yards. There's a start with a pass for Willie Green, and he's out of bounds. 56 seconds to go. No timeouts for Detroit. An 11-yard pass play. Enough to move the chains. Checking the big clock that shows 56 seconds is Wayne Fonts. Seems pretty calm, but he's got to be churning inside watching this. 4 wides. Perriman in motion. He drops back, and he's down. The sack by Pat Swilling. 6th sack of the day for the Saints.
See, the offensive line of the Lions has really had a tough afternoon. Of course, most teams in the league have a tough time against this great defense of the New Orleans Saints.
Gotta hurry now. Hit while in the motion of throwing. Incomplete pass. Frank Warren was the one who got him.
See, that's a great thing about what the defense is doing of the Saints. You know, you're getting pressure inside with Warren. Before, you didn't get much from the defensive tackles. Now you're getting it outside. You're getting it from Warren, and then you're also getting it from Martin on the other side, the left tackle position. Boy, that's a lot of pressure.
I don't know that stamina is the great question now. It's just the overpowering defense of the New Orleans Saints. 3rd down and 16. 36 seconds left.
Right tackle move.
Smart move by Swilling to get across the line when that movement occurred. But let's get the call.
Number 76 offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
Second game of the doubleheader coming up for most of you. That's the Rams at San Francisco to play the 49ers. Giants and Raiders, Redskins and Cardinals also on tap. 3rd and 21. Perriman in motion. And Peete is back. Underthrown to Green. And the booing again. So this is it with 31 seconds left.
7 defensive backs in the game for the Saints. A very good move on their part.
You figure 1 and 4 is what the record would be if the Lions don't spring open a miracle here.
Yeah, it's a crushing. It'll be a crushing loss for Detroit. No question about that.
They only play 2 more games this month. They have 10 days off between the 2, and they're both on the road. Peete with a pass for Green, caught at the 30. They have to hurry now.
Yeah, just short of the 1st down. Ball goes over to the Saints. This contest is over.
Well, you look at this schedule. It is all within the division. They wait, and then they play on a Thursday in Minnesota, 10 days, and then a game at Tampa Bay, and then home to Green Bay.
Wayne Fonts, he's got to be heartbroken about this game because he came in with the idea that they would play well, that they had a great chance to beat the Saints. They had great respect for the Saints. Know they're a very good football team, and very frankly, they're a better football team physically, personnel-wise, really, than the Lions. You got to put it, that's the facts. That's it.
Well, they shook off a disappointing loss to San Francisco, these Saints did. They get back on the upside at 3-2. They'll be home to the Rams on Sunday, and their schedule gets a little easier than it's been for the next month. Hole for Detroit gets deeper. They're in the cellar still. We're mentioning that schedule. Lions have a lot of teams 500 or stronger, but the Saints gets a little softer, although that might be an insult to Tampa Bay. But the Rams, a 500 team, and Phoenix and New England, sub 500.
Well, the Saints are in a good position with 3-2.
Lions still have to ponder on how they're going to get holes for Barry Sanders.
Yeah, and especially when they take him out of the game completely. He was involved in 9 plays. Boy, that's tough when you have a great back like him and can't do more with him than they actually were able to do. But basically, again, it goes right back. What a great job. They were outmanned up front, talking about the Lions from an offensive standpoint. Defense overwhelmed them.
So the hole deeper. The Lions have to think about all of this. And the Saints celebrate a hard-earned victory, a grueling one that it turned out to be today.
Want to say thank you to Murray Spencer, our great cornerback at New Orleans. They helped us with the...
So for Hank Schram, Mike Emerick saying so long from the Silverdome. The final score, the Saints 13, the Lions 7.
Welcome back to our studio, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with a jovial Terry Bradshaw.
Always.
As we want to remind you that for most of you, coming up is the second half of our NFL doubleheader here on CBS. The Los Angeles Rams at Candlestick to take on the 49ers. Others will see the New York Giants against the winless Los Angeles Raiders and the Phoenix Cardinals hosting the Washington Redskins. Now, a big game taking place at Rich Stadium in Buffalo this afternoon, and the Miami Dolphins have all but put the Bills away by a score of 37-10. That game, Jim Kelly has thrown 4 interceptions today. Louis Oliver has picked off 3 of them and returning 1 for 103 yards. And this is a little bit reminiscent of how the Bills rolled along last year and then all of a sudden hit a year wall.
Yeah, you remember last year they lost in their 6th game to Kansas City, and they lost in a big-time way. And that seems to be how they, the Bills take off, they peak early, then they fall flat down, and then they come back and peak kind of steadily through the second half of the season. And that kind of happened to today. But Miami needed this game badly to really have a shot at the AFC East.
Dolphins will go 4-0, and the Bills will fall to 4-1. Dan Marino's thrown 3 touchdown passes. Now, at the Metrodome, the Minnesota Vikings have come back from a 20-0 fourth-quarter deficit to take a 21-20 lead on the Chicago Bears. Jim Harbaugh's 6-yard touchdown run on the quarterback draw gave the Bears a 20-point lead, but then his troubles began with the interception.
Yeah, this is the throw out in the flat. This is just a bad read by Jim. Just forced it, didn't take his time. Then he made an alley-oop kind of effort to tackle, which sent his head coach Ditka into a rage. There's the rage. And that's not over the interception, folks. That's over the fact that he didn't make the tackle.
And then Rich Gannon, rolling to his left, finds Chris Carter in the end zone for the 16-yard touchdown that cut it to 20-13. And then from a yard out, Roger Craig puts the Vikings even at 20. The extra point made it 21. But with 28 seconds left to play, Jim Harbaugh picked off again, this time by McMillan, and this puts the game away for Minnesota.
Well, this is a game the Bears have to look back on. Last week they gave up something like 20-something points in the second half to the Atlanta Falcons. Now today to come back in the fourth quarter where champions are measured, Greg, and to give up 21 points and looks like they're going to lose this football game 21-20. is not going to sit well with the Bear fans and the Bears themselves. Now doubts start coming in saying, hey, we get a lead, we can't even hold it. 21 points, that's unheard of.
Chicago Bears have been outscored in the second half this year 100-34. In Tampa, the Bucks trailing the Indianapolis Colts 24-14. That's a fourth quarter score. Jeff George was just 3 of 13 with 2 interceptions in the first half. Came back for a big second half, 12 of 19, 172 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Colts are on the verge of pulling even for the year at 2-2. In Atlanta, the Falcons have snapped their 3-game losing streak. They beat the Packers 24-10 and snapped Green Bay's 2-game winning streak. Brett Favre, pretty good day throwing the football, but Keith Millard making a big debut for Green Bay, makes his first tackle for a loss, and then Favre, 16 yards to Sterling Sharp.
Well, you know we like Favre because he's a Southern boy. This is a nice job. Sharp, one of the finest receivers. Later on in the fourth quarter, Favre would miss Sharp wide open. That would have made this game awfully close.
Chris Miller, pretty good day throwing the ball. 3 touchdown passes. This one to Andre Rison, who is now into shape, isn't he?
He's into shape. Caught 3 last week. He's caught 2 in this game. And I think the decisions that Miller's making, especially in the second half of the last 3 ball games, are just outstanding.
Brett Favre, 32 out of 42 for 274 yards, 2 interceptions, and a touchdown on the day. The Packers fall to 2-3. The Falcons are up to 2-3 now. And a final from the Metrodome, from the Silverdome in Pontiac. The Lions lose their second straight at home. The New Orleans Saints win it by a score of 13-7. Vaughn Dunbar scores his first National Football League touchdown in this game, and Bobby Hebert threw for 153 yards. Barry Sanders just 9 carries for 37 yards. We now have a final score from the Metrodome, and that 21-point comeback for the Minnesota Vikings, 21-20 over the Bears. Second half of our doubleheader coming up for most of you here on CBS, and we will see you again at halftime.